assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen.
Bekhair agale, ni hao, tjuna shumme, washwale, ohaya, guzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonjour, privyet, kaifa hal, hale shuma chatore, ahlan wa sahlan, marhaba, buna, mucho, gracias, swabiab, and a very happy, amazing Eid Mubarak to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and Watching World this morning, alongside the very lovely, the very fantastic, the very ED, Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking. What about you?
Well, I think I'm doing great too as well. And since we all know, ladies and gentlemen, that the world's actually going through difficult times, I think that we have still managed to keep ourselves together. We have still managed to make sure that we are actually going to celebrate all of those heroes who have been at the front line and have been fighting against COVID-19 with all the fervor and zeal. I think that these are the words. There's a special reason why I'm using these words, ladies and gentlemen, and it is because of the fact that the kind of passion I have seen in the previous days and in the previous months while we were going through the toughest times in the world, I think that everybody has made sure that they are going to be responsible citizens and that whatever responsibilities they are supposed to impart, they will keep on doing so.
Absolutely, I do agree with you 100%, Shazad. So how is your week of festivities going?
Well,
Anything new that you did? I'll tell you why I'm asking that, because I feel like now the dynamics of festivities or celebrations at all has sort of changed, right? I don't want to say 180, but it has definitely shifted from what it used to be. So under the lockdown, or let's say under the COVID-19 situation, how was your week of festivities, or how is it?
Well, Shiza, to be very honest, in the first place, obviously, ladies and gentlemen, when we were supposed to, or when we were asked to do all of these Eid shows, we were like, that the world has lost so many beautiful and amazing people, and that it would be so different to celebrate Eid. So what we did was, and I think that I'm going to thank my boss for this as well. He came up with a brilliant idea, and he said that on this Eid we are actually going to celebrate with all of those people who've made sure that they are going to impart their responsibilities. As I said, may them be doctors, may them be civil servants, may them be teachers, may them be sanitary workers, may them be all of those people who've been delivering food to other people's houses as well. So, for all of those people who've made sure that they will be working day in, day out to make sure that everybody out there at their homes is safe, we wanted them to come over and share their stories with us on this Eid. What about you? Because you are a newlywed as well, and every Eid comes with a lot of responsibility. When you are a newlywed, you have to call your mother-in-law or probably other relatives as well. So how was it for you?
So we didn't call them, but we called onto them. Like, we went over, of course. They live nearby. 2 hours, and when I say 2 hours, it's nearby as compared to Multan, which is like so many hours away. So we did spend our main days with them, and now we're back to share the other days with you, ladies and gentlemen, because we love to do that, especially early in the morning. So Shazad, when you keep saying that we need to celebrate, all the frontline warriors, the real heroes of the whole situation, who actually, helped Pakistan come out of, let's say, the abyss, and now, mashallah, we're onto the road of progress now.
Exactly.
So who do we have on the show today?
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I think that it's a moment of immense pride for me, and it's because of the fact that it's not that we have planned it, but since our producer actually is supposed to give out who will be coming on the show, we can give suggestions. So I said that, it'll be nicer if I can have somebody whom I know whom I knew earlier as well, and that particular person was actually involved in or was a part of the frontline warriors as well. So I'm very lucky that I've actually been joined by one of my colleagues from my university as well back in the days, and he used to be a senior. He luckily, I think I'm going to put it this way as well, he luckily actually got married to a CSS officer as well. And so what we thought was that it'll be a brilliant idea, because both of them have been working throughout these days. They haven't had a single day off. So it will be nice to ask them whether what kind of activities were they involved in and how was their Eid this time around. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce my Bhabhi to you, but not just that. Ladies and gentlemen, she's a civil servant herself, and she's none other than Miss Aisha Fahad Shahbaz. Hello, Assalamu Alaikum, good morning, Eid Mubarak.
Walaikum Assalam, good morning, Eid Mubarak to you too as well, and thank you for calling us here on this very special occasion of Eid, but definitely it's different this time.
Thank you very much.
And unique in itself.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you. What do you want me to call out? I mean, for example, do you want me to say Bhabhi? Do you want me to say Miss Aisha?
Anything,
what do you want me to say?
Anything that you like and you're comfortable with.
Thank you very much for that. Thank you very much for giving me that leverage and liberty as well. But ladies and gentlemen, alongside her, this gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, to be very honest, is a very down-to-earth and one of those people who've always given inspiration to me, because we had similar issues. with our physiques, and we kind of wanted a solution to that, and we kind of hung on to that, and finally, alhamdulillah, we are here. We have overcome all of those issues as well, and people who overcome their own issues by themselves and are strong in their heads are the ones who were really worthy at these times as well, because of the fact that they've been through those hardships, and it was nothing new for them as well. So ladies and gentlemen, a brave soul himself, he's a civil servant too. He's none other than Chaudhry Fahad Bhutta Sahab. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Walaikum salam. Thank you so much for calling us here, sir. I am very fine. I think you are also very fine.
Thank you
As
very
you
much.
said,
I'm very fine. Thank you very much for joining us. It's wonderful to have you.
So
Sija, do you want to
Yeah,
ask a
I
question?
actually want to begin with a very basic question. Like Ms. Aisha, you already mentioned it was different, but it was unique in its own way.
Yes.
How different was it? I mean, of course, for us, it was like a very few people coming over. We sort of like blatantly told them not to, and those who wouldn't listen had to come over, but they were like very few. What about you?
Definitely. But I said it was different because this situation has never been there before.
Exactly.
Okay, this was unique in itself because, as you said, we could not go over to any place. We didn't have those iftar parties. We
Parties,
didn't have
right.
those iftar dinners at home.
And
We
not even
didn't
the
go
Chand
anywhere.
Raat party,
No,
I missed
no
that.
Chand Raat, no nothing, no Mehndi night, no nothing. So it was different for us as well, for being the civil servants, because we have to just to work day in, day out.
Yeah.
Right.
We have to just cater into everything related to our staff, related to the people who is living around us, and we just coming in, see our kids for a while, and then just go back to our
That
offices.
must be so hard, right?
It is hard because having those little small toddlers at home, and they just feel every day that mommy and daddy are going out and they're not taking them around,
Yeah.
and then we have to take care of them as well.
Absolutely.
And simultaneously we have to think beyond our circles.
Yes.
Right,
I mean,
right.
our first circle is our kids, second is our
Yes.
relatives, and then we have to think out of the box.
Yeah.
But now this time the first circle is our staff, the safety of them, because we have to actually handle them.
Exactly.
The
And
things
be there
doesn't
as well.
stop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think, ladies and gentlemen, I think Ms. Aisha Fahad over here very brilliantly put this, that there's definitely an immediate family that you have, and then there's your friends, and then there's your work family as well. But amidst the COVID-19 situation, you know, people like them who were the frontline warriors as
Yeah.
well, they sort of had to shift those circles, Shazad. I mean,
Exactly.
their work family was actually their immediate family because they have to be on spot. It's not possible for them to stay at home and on call like cowards be like, hey, tum ye kar dena, tum ye kar dena. You know, it's very brave of you guys to actually go on ground and do all the work
Definitely,
as well.
and we are actually prone to everything that is coming up to us.
Exactly.
I mean, for our staff, we have to go and buy the masks. For our staff, we have to go buy the gloves and everything, because we cannot rely on our assistants and everybody.
Exactly.
Right.
So we have to just go beyond our means
Yeah.
as well.
Brilliant.
And thank you very much for doing so as well. And I think that all of those people who were working under you as well will feel great as well, and will have immense respect for that. But not just that. I think I'm going to move on to Chaudhry Sahab over here. So Chaudhry Sahab, you know, you have a very, I would say, a very elite job in terms. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying this is because of the fact that he's affiliated with the Punjab government, and he's actually responsible for dispensing people's salaries, and which I believe is the most important part, because over here in public institutions, salaries, you know, they do get delayed. And it's because of the fact that amidst COVID-19 and all of these problems, so there were shifts that, you know, 3 people will come in, 3 people will stay home
Right.
for 2 days, 3 days. So, you know, there was a mixture of hierarchy as well. So if one person is actually supposed to hand out checks to somebody else, and if he or she is missing, you know, the process halts or the process just stops. So how did you make sure that this Eid, every Punjab government employee is actually going to get their salaries on time, and so that they're able to spend whatever and wherever they want to?
Thank you so much, Khan Sahib. I would like to let you know that firstly, Government of Punjab imposed the total lockdown in the whole province. But as you said earlier, that we are responsible for the disbursement of the salaries of the, you know,
Quite a lot of people.
government
That's a
servants
good
as
job.
well as the janitorial staff. And no doubt we are, and we were responsible, and we had the double responsibility. And you know, we were on vacations for 1.5 years, for 1.5 months, but we were on duty 24/7. Like if I am sitting at home and doing some work, and the director call me and says that you have to go to office for dispersing the check, so I was responsible to give the checks to the staff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you've done that. You've given it to everybody who actually.
Yes, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. That was my responsibility, and I gave the check to everybody who was, needed it.
Alhamdulillah, that's superb. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think that, over here, the sole reason why I asked this question was that everybody out there who actually is a public servant, make sure that, that people out there, if you're responsible for something this important that, our house is dependent on, I think that people should actually not be selfish. I think people should actually take out time and come to their office so that they make sure that everybody is getting what they're working for. And I think that this is very important. But there's one more thing which is very important as well. And, whenever we speak about Eid or occasions like these, women, they have to get some newer suits as well. They have to go to the tailors. And having said that, you have twin little angels as well who are growing up every day. So it's Eid for them too. So as parents, you might have prepared a little as well. But did you prepare for yourself, and did Bhutta Sahab take you to the tailor himself? How was it?
No, it wasn't this way this year.
Okay.
It wasn't this way
Yeah,
this year
same.
because it was, as I told you in the first sentence, it was different.
Yeah.
It was unique. He didn't took me anywhere to any of the tailors.
Yeah.
No shopping was there. No shops were open. No online. I'm just totally against the online shopping and everything because I cannot feel the texture. I cannot feel anything.
And there's no return.
And there's no return.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. And for the little angels, what we did was I have help at home. So I asked the help. She knows stitching.
Yeah.
So I just took out a piece of a kapda or something and asked her to just stitch a few frocks for them. So that's why we actually curtailed the expense.
Were they
first
happy?
of all,
Were they happy to
they
wear those
were
frocks?
happy because
Wow.
it was different for them because they are usually used to of wearing those ready-made and everything
Yeah.
with all those flowers and butterflies and everything.
Right.
But this time it was different. It was I actually tried to help the people around me with the money that I could have spent on the expensive joda,
That's very
on the
thoughtful of
expensive shoes, on the expensive things that I could have actually
That's
done. So this is what we have done.
I think
this
that's
year.
brilliant. You did set an example, and that's very thoughtful of you. But because of all these, amazing things that she did, was it a sigh of relief for you?
Ma'am, actually, honestly speaking,
It
this
was.
Eid,
Yeah.
It
this
was.
Eid is a bit different for me for two reasons. The second reason is no doubt the COVID-19, but the primary reason is that I lost my mother 2 months ago, and this is the very first Eid that we are celebrating without our mother. So that's why we decided not to go anywhere. Of course, just because of COVID-19, as well as for the reason which I told you, which was the primary reason
Exactly.
in my
And
So
that's
sorry to
fine, and
hear
I think that you've done a great job as well. But may Marji's soul rest in peace as well. We're all obviously praying, but not just that. Choi Sahab and Ma'am, that a lot of people have actually lost their loved one, and amidst this Eid, just the previous month there have been a lot of deaths as well, just because of COVID-19. So for all of those people who are out there, ladies and gentlemen, think as if I'm your son, she's your daughter as well. And I think that every other day we come over here with the same passion to make sure that nobody feels the absence of their loved ones as well.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to change the mood now. Obviously the mood needs to be changed over here. The question which I want to ask is that when the husband is working, when the wife is working, when both of them are working and making money, alhamdulillah, how do you decide that who's going to spend on wife's Eid joda? Is it the wife herself, or is it the husband if he is willing to spend?
I think it should
It
be out
is-
of love from the husband.
Yeah, it should
है
be
ना?
out of love from the husband, and it should be from the husband.
Oh.
It should be from the husband because why should I spend anything
Yeah.
on myself? I mean, I am actually getting ready for him.
Yeah.
He should be spending the money
I
to
like
pay
it.
for
Let me
my.
tell you that, no doubt, she's saying very right. This is no doubt the responsibility of the husband to bring, the beautiful joda for her wife.
So why
for
did
his
you miss out on this responsibility this year around? I don't know whether you did or not.
I have a very good, ek bahana that we are suffering from the COVID, and
Yes.
that's why we have not.
And I also know that when the COVID is going to get over, I have the whole list is prepared.
That he missed out on?
He missed out. He missed out on my birthday. He
I'm-
missed out on the Valentine's.
Oh,
he missed out on
I am
flana,
ready to
flana,
fulfill,
flana.
her every
So
wish,
he has to
inshallah,
actually
like this.
fulfill the whole list.
And
Well,
he's so
see-
sweet. He says he's ready to fulfill all.
Oh, that's all. He's saying it because he's on television, but there's a reason why
You
he's
can
missed
ask
it.
her. You can ask her.
No,
that.
there's
I
a
always
reason
did
why
this.
you missed it. People take advantage of whatever opportunity comes to them. I know, Shiza, you have a question, but
I
I'm
do
going to
actually,
ask
for all three of you. Yeah,
one
go on.
last question for
Yeah.
you. from my side, and obviously, I'm sorry that I'm asking this as well, but since we've all been in quarantine as well,
Yes.
Punjab government was in a lockdown, so you must have been at home for 1.5 or more months as well, and you were working every day.
I was
But
working
eventually,
every
there
day.
comes a time when the husband and wife cannot just
Tolerate.
each other. I'm sorry to say that, but this is how it is.
Yeah.
So, first of all, who lashed out on who, and
And
what
how
was the reason?
often?
What was the reason behind it, and then who was the one who said sorry?
It's a
I
very
wish
tough
we could
question.
capture that expression.
It's a very tough question.
That's a tough question
Yeah.
because we are actually having a secular system at home.
Okay.
I mean, nobody lash out on nobody.
Yeah.
But
like
this time, because I was
It was
working
too much.
throughout.
Yes.
Matlab, since the very first day of this lockdown.
I think I've got the answer.
Yeah, and I was actually going out, coming in, and when I enters the house, there is like toddlers going around, roaming here and there, just like zombies. And the daddy is actually sitting on the sofa with the laptop and working with the accounts. And I'm like, what's going on? पता नहीं इधर ही होगा इधर ही चल रहा है इधर ही होगा so which means that if everything was on point in the morning pristine clean everything and now in the kitchen everything is messed up now in the living room everything is messed up now with the kids everything is messed up so you can get the
Yeah,
answer.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I lash out.
I accepted that. I am a bit, irresponsible and careless in looking after my kids.
Yeah.
I am accepting this.
But I
But
think
I think
fathers
it's-
always spoil their daughters as well.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
But
do.
mothers should accept this
so
as
then
well.
did
and should
you
know
did
this.
you say sorry to her or you didn't?
Sometimes she said sorry and sometimes I
So,
did.
but
I
this
think
time
that
around
is
it
how
was
the
you.
balance should be.
Yes,
I think that is how the balance should be. But here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, of course, our main purpose was to, bring out the brilliant work that they both have been doing. But I also sort of, wanted to talk about you, Shazad, that we're just like you, I mean, this couple, or me at home, or Shazad at home, because we know that how this festivity is going to be for you, and it was similar for us as well.
Yeah.
So here's a question for all three of you, and I
Yeah.
do want a legit answer to this.
Yeah.
Now, there are two sides of a coin, and I often get mixed replies to this. When you talk about the husband and the wife being in the same profession, is it a good idea or a bad idea?
It's an
Let's
amazing
begin. Let's begin with Shazad.
Well, if you were to start with me, ladies and gentlemen, obviously it's going to vary from the kind of wife you have at home. So I think that with me, I think that it'll be a little problem because when she gets angry, she just drops out on everything, so you cannot rely on her then. Because if we are supposed to go somewhere and, all of a sudden she's just angry about something else, she's going to drop out on the plan. So if it was a dinner at somebody else's place, she'll be like, I'm not going, you go by yourself. So imagine that if it is a show which we have to do together and one day she's not coming, everybody will know that they have a problem going on.
That's hard.
So I think that it's not a good idea for
What
me.
about you?
For me, it's a good idea because you understand your liabilities at the office
Yeah.
and your liabilities at home as well. And you understand the work flexibilities too. I mean, if something is difficult for me at office, I know that this kind of a situation could have happened to him as well.
Exactly.
So it becomes really easy to understand the situations. And when you're working in the government sector, so things become really, similar
Yeah.
most of the time.
Do you agree?
Because
Yeah, I second Aisha's opinion because if you're doing the same sort of job, if you're doing the same job, like we are the civil servants and we know that what are our responsibilities, and as she said that we accommodate both of us. Like if she is working in the office, then I am looking at the kids, and if I am working in the office and
Well, she
looks
just told us about how you look after kids. So I don't think that we are going to buy this.
She said zombies.
yeah, I mean all the hair on their faces.
Yeah, but
and
I think that
everything.
now comes the most interesting part, ladies and gentlemen, because now I actually have to check, whether they're loyal to the provincial government or to the federal government as well. So, it's going to be a question.
That's a fight.
There's been a longer debate on the 18th Amendment
18th
as well and
Amendment,
whatnot.
yes.
So, do you think that Punjab government has done a good job? First of all, this is a question for you during the COVID-19 and all the arrangements they have done, or do you think that the Sindh government has done a better job?
or should we compare?
Being the federal government, I mean, both of them actually done a good job giving in you their own situations. Sindh could have done better,
All right.
and Punjab could have done better too.
I feel
but
like, you know, the thing is-
definitely the thing is that both of them tried according to their own minds.
MashaAllah.
Exactly.
Both of them, the leadership actually tried how to cope up with the situation. But
Exactly.
as we know that the Punjab government is totally federal government fed government.
Yeah.
ठीक है? And the Sindh government is totally opposition fed government.
Yes.
But definitely the mindful decisions have been
Were
taken
taken.
from both the sides.
Alhamdulillah.
Exactly, and I think the demographics of both the provinces are
it's
different,
different.
and how to deal with the situation, the number, the frequency, everything was different. So I think approaches had to be different as well.
Exactly.
Right? Do you agree with it?
So let me ask Bhutta Sahab over here as well. So what do you have to say about the precautionary measures and all the setup being made to actually make sure that not many people are going to be affected by COVID-19? All the initiatives taken by the federal government. What do you have to say about that?
Actually, sir, I think no doubt the state is doing its work very brilliantly,
Very
and
lucky.
this is the responsibility of the citizens as well to take the precautionary measures. State cannot do everything.
Exactly.
Okay, and I must say that the citizens should also take the precautionary measures and follow the instructions of the government.
Exactly. That's wonderful as
And,
well.
and to be honest, Shahzad, I have to sort of confess over here, this is getting a little flat, so I have to bring all of you back to Eid now. So, coming back to you.
Yeah.
Sir, I want to ask you, what is one of the things that you absolutely, it could be a sweet dish, it could be one of your traditions, anything, that you absolutely love about Eid, that Miss Aisha does specifically? Maybe she missed this year.
Ma'am, she is very good in making makhandi ka halwa.
Oh,
and
what is that?
It is juda juda halwa hota hai.
Yeah, joda joda halwa, and
Okay.
Basically
this
done
is
with
this
milk and
this is her
everything.
speciality, and I always love to eat that halwa on Eid.
And did you have it this time?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I had to make
Previously-
it when I came back home on the Chandrat after
Yeah.
doing everything at office and everything. So I actually, my hands were off and I had to actually cook halwa for him because he likes it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so nice.
Previously, my mother did that, but she also helped her. But now she is the eldest bow of the house, and this is now
Brings
more.
about a lot of responsibility.
Yeah, and she takes the responsibilities, and I'm very
Exactly.
happy for it.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's
Well,
so
well,
nice.
that's great, and it's wonderful as well. But very quickly, before we wrap up this segment, first of all, we're very thankful that you guys have taken out time to be over here and to have graced our show as well. But very quickly, if you have anything to say to other people who are out there who are celebrating or not celebrating Eid, depending on the kind of circumstances, please go ahead, say something. Look into the camera.
Stay safe and explore the opportunities which are different. I
Exactly.
mean, this Eid, yeah, you have to do certain different things, and obviously not just this Eid. Definitely, the coming up Eids, the coming up festivals, because things are now different. You have most of you must have just lost your loved ones and every important thing maybe in your life. Maybe you have missed out on your wedding ceremonies. Maybe you have missed out on meeting somebody who's not there anymore because of this COVID, because of this situation going around. So maybe think something different this time. Do something different this time. And maybe a little social service would bring out the inner peace that is gone long ago. And also explore the nature.
Thank you very much for
Yes.
saying that. So, do we consider it a message from both of you, or do you want to give your own message?
Yeah, I want to give my own message that do enjoy your Eid at your homes. No doubt this is the festival to be enjoyed, but do follow the government instructions, as well as do take the precautionary measures by yourselves, not for yourself but for others' good health as well.
Wow, that's great as well. So once again, happy Eid Mubarak.
Thank you
very
so much, sir,
joining
for
us.
I don't know
This
why
is-
you say that. Happy Eid Mubarak.
This is
It's
how
been 3 years. I
this is
can't
my
change
thing.
it for
This
him.
is my thing. I've been doing it ever since as well.
I know.
So for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, we're actually going to head out towards a short break. But when we're going to come back, we'll actually be in conversation with a psychologist who've actually helped a lot of COVID-19 patients to kind of have a resolve with themselves and have a better life. We'll be in discussion with her on this Eid. So we are actually going for
A very short break. Stay tuned. Good morning.
Eid Mubarak.
Welcome back to World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eid Mubarak to everyone watching from all around the globe as well. This is Shahzad Khan and this is Shahzad Hashmi. And like every other morning, we're here to sort of, well, along with inform you, cheer you up as well.
Exactly.
All right. So one thing before we move on, I want to talk about, of course, we're going to talk about the psychological aspects of COVID-19 that were unfortunately brought onto us as well. There were some people who, Shahzad, unfortunately lost their closed ones,
Exactly.
who lost the routines that they used to have, the normal life that they used to have. And it's sort of hard to cope up with all of that. And now that we have some amazing festivities going on as well. So what is the best way to actually make full use of this? Well, happiness, I want to say, that is going around.
Yes.
I do have one sort of reservation from all of this. Shahzad and I are now neighbors. We're in the same sector literally, and it was my first Eid, and I was not
have
invited.
to invite you over a dinner.
I was not
have to-
invited.
I have to invite you over dinner, but let the situation calm down
I
a little.
know, I
I'm
know.
sorry for that. Yeah, I know.
I know, it's okay, man.
Yeah, and it's not that, ladies and gentlemen, she's the only person in our office who got married. Even our researcher got married as well. So,
But he is on vacation, what can we say?
Exactly, but yes, yeah, the dinner is long due as well,
Yeah,
and
I
don't
get
worry,
it,
we'll
I get it.
definitely have you over as well. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, as we all promised, that we are going to have people over on the show on this Eid who've actually been directly involved with people who've suffered from COVID-19
Yes.
as well, and have been rendering their services for them. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we've actually been joined by a lady who herself is a psychologist. She's a behavior therapist. She works with autistic children as well. But not just that, during this COVID-19 pandemic, she actually was helping other people who actually were diagnosed with COVID-19. Then they got better, but then it was, it was their mental health which was at stake as well. And she made sure that she's going to help them no matter what happens. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we are celebrating Eid with one of our celebrity, one of our hero as well, who's none other than Miss Sobia Adnan. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, Eid Mubarak, kaisi hain aap?
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, Eid Mubarak to all of you on the
Khair
behalf of my family, and congratulations, Shiza. I have come to know that you
Thank
have
you so
got married. So this Eid was totally different, and I think this was the best Eid of my life.
Really?
Exactly.
Yes.
How so?
Yeah, because I have learned during Ramadan and all the humbleness about sacrifice. That is
That's
with what I learned. Because before Eid was totally a different occasion.
Exactly.
This time it is totally a different situation, and as I work with person with disabilities, so we are able to understand now. As now we are all locked up. no?
Exactly.
Now
I think
we are
the
able
isolation
to,
factor, right?
that now we are really able to understand how they cope with those situations when they are not able to reach their goals or able to reach the plans they have. So I think this Eid was the best Eid. My kids, they learned, they worked with me. They have been online giving classes and sessions to the special kids as well as person with disabilities. And if you talk about this present situation, the person who have recovered from this
COVID-19.
COVID-19, I have no words to explain their feelings.
You've been in conversations with them,
Yes,
right?
I
You've
have
had
been. I have been
clients.
taking their sessions after recovery. So to fight for life, that is, they totally a different scenario. So I have been working with them, and when after recovery, still they have a fear,
Right,
Yeah.
of course.
and that will stay with them for months.
Miss Sobi, you know what I wanted to ask you? I understand that, mashallah, you're doing an amazing job working with all these people as well. But alhamdulillah, you didn't sort of contract the disease yourself. But when you have to, give therapy sessions to people who lived through that, you sort of go through that as well, right? You're
Yes,
living
yes.
it all over again. So how was it for you?
Shiza, it was as I think if I'm serving for humanity, so I should not be worried for Allah Pak will taking
Give you
care of.
Definitely.
Yes, He will give me strength, and I am taking sessions because I have to give them strength
Right.
to come back to the life track. So many of them are so afraid now that they are not able to go back their job situations. Everything is clean. Their brain are totally washed. They doesn't. I have so many patients who didn't even remember what they were doing.
Oh.
They have been so stressed out. So it was our psychologist, and I think all including everybody,
Yes.
one of
Yes.
us, we should unite together to help them out.
Exactly, and that's what we are doing as well, ladies and gentlemen. This time around, that's the reason why we are actually celebrating our heroes as well. And you very rightly said that people have been under a lot of stress, and that life is not normal as of yet as well, and we are still fighting against that pandemic. But ladies and gentlemen, on a lighter note, she's wearing a very amazing Kohati chappal. I think everybody needs to look at that as well.
Love it.
It totally tells me about each celebration as well.
thank
But
you.
very quickly, what I'm going to ask you is, I've had a friend who was doctor and he was working in UAE, and he actually contracted the virus.
Oh no.
And then he was put into isolation for more than 23 days. He got out, he calls me up and he's like, you know, I just don't feel fine. I am very upset, I'm mentally ill and I need help. And then obviously, you know, we refer to him, you know, that he's a good psychiatrist or she's a good psychologist and you should be treated. But not just that, I think that it's not the people who've gone through it, it's the families alongside them, and it's all, everyone, including us as well. Because the pressure has been real, and everybody has been at home. The threshold wasn't this long lasting, sorry, but then eventually, obviously, some had the capacity to fight, some didn't. How do you think that it has had an impact on everybody at large, and how do you think that we can recover our mental health by ourselves by following some basic exercises?
Yes. For male, it's more difficult. But female, they are doing cooking and all that. But we should take everything positively.
Yes.
So when we are staying at home, we should be very creative, and we should be. This is that YouTube and all that. We have all these facilities. So we should involve everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
As if I talk about myself, I involve my husband, my kids. Everybody was involved with me to work with my field.
Or to help you
yes,
as well.
yes.
Yeah.
So
That's
that's what everybody can do. And the persons who have recovered, they are the ray of hope.
Yeah.
Right.
So they can work with us. They can also, most of them are not, they're so afraid that people are going to treat us as we are aliens. They are going to, although we
fear is real, to be
fear is
honest.
there. So if they talk and if they tell how they fight, how they took the help of psychologists, doctors, our front fighters, that will be a ray of hope for everybody.
Yeah.
That it's not, we should take it positively now. Although it's a stressful thing, but we cannot say that we are just sitting at home. Just the stress will increase.
That is
We can
absolutely
work
true.
from home for these people as well. We can.
That's brilliant. I was going to ask something that is completely slipped off my mind, but yes, Ms. Sobia, one more thing I want to talk about. So, you know, a lot of my friends who've been living abroad without their families, they want to return. Some of them did. Some of them have been like terribly missing out on home as well. But they have this fear, I don't know if I should talk about it, they really don't want to, when they come back from the rescue flights, they really don't want to either go to the quarantine centers or the hotels that they're keeping the, well, let's say tourists or people coming from abroad as well. For different reasons I don't want to talk about on TV. Was this one of the reasons, or let's say, was this one of the things that your clients were really stressed about, being locked in quarantine centers away from their families?
No, that was
Yeah?
no. Actually, most of the patients who recovered, they were not aware.
Oh, okay.
They were not aware, and when so close to death, the problem was not that they are in the center. The situations are on TV. It's something else, but
In real, it's different?
it's real.
Okay.
In real, it's different. The patient who recovered from corona, they are more worried about their health and
health,
their personal, and the people who are coming from abroad, they are afraid to go in quarantine, but they should realize it's for their betterment.
It's for their safety.
If they work themselves, they will cooperate.
Yes, that's
Exactly,
true.
and thank you very much for saying that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very important. Alongside that, I think I'm going to remind you once again as well that even if it's Eid, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you do not put anyone's health at stake as well by just
Yes,
going to their
please.
places or calling them at your place as well. Because you never can be sure. I know that either it's going to be your sister, either it's going to be your brother or your parents, and these are those relationships where, you know, you would actually love to take the risk, but please don't do that. You really do not want to go through a loss of a loved one as well just because of this small happiness which you wanted to attain over 8 days. Please don't risk that, you know, and we've been saying it over and over again. Just stay at home. You know, even for us it is very difficult. Even our brothers and sisters are not coming to see us. They're not allowed. My parents are not allowing me to step outside the house as well, and this is how it needs to be dealt with as well. But how was your first few days of Eid as well? How was it? And then obviously all of this might have had an impact on you too. Did somebody at home, your husband or your kids, said that Mama, you looked stressed? Or how do you kind of have a resolve from within your own self and with yourself?
I have been taking online classes, so it was not easy for me to cope so many kids.
Yep.
So I involved my kids as well. You take the
help you?
session, yes, session of this and this, and cook. My husband is learning cooking, and he is a good cook now. So my son, he is good doing cooking. He has been learning cooking, and it will be more beneficial for me afterwards also.
I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so then I think I've got a more important question for you.
You led him here.
Now what I'm going to ask is, since your son can cook now,
Yes.
so once he gets married, would you want him to cook or would you want his wife to cook?
No, he should.
He should
Oh,
cook.
I like
He
it.
should, he
Okay.
should, he should.
And the wife shouldn't?
No, she
Both
should
of
also.
them. She should as
should
well.
as well, both of them. But if he is a good cook, so he should.
So he
It should be balanced.
And
of
I
course.
think that this is a lesson for our guests, who were here in the first segment as well, because the husband was a little lazy and he wanted makhadi ka halwa, which his wife had to cook by herself when she got back from work. So I think that this is a better idea and everybody needs to do that.
Right.
Which makes me think I need to ask Shiza, what did she cook for her husband this time around, because it was Eid?
Yeah. So the thing is, he's not really fond of, sweet or dessert or anything.
Yeah.
But I did try this Oreo-based sweet dish.
Wow.
I was the one who ate the most of it, to be honest. I don't know for what reason.
Yeah.
But well, I did try. And also I was
And she
helping
forgot that we were neighbors, or I could have said,
I
Oreo
spent my
cook.
first 2 days in Karia, you know it.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I did help my new mom and my sister-in-laws to be as well for everything that they were doing. I think it was sort of a shared effort too. It was
Wow.
fun.
I think which is great, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that these festivities and these celebrations are all about getting together. So whatever you had at home, may it be a brother, a sister, a mother, or a wife, or a kid, I think that everybody has, I think everybody is just happy with the way it is, or the way things are, because we do not have any other way out as well. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, very quickly, I'm going to remind you that please do not step outside the house. I know that it's Eid.
Unnecessarily.
We have just passed through, somewhat around the peak period as well, and now things are looking better. And I think that the Prime Minister Imran Khan has done a phenomenal job, and the world is actually following his footsteps as well. So please make sure that you do not put anyone at risk.
Absolutely, but thank you so much for coming here and joining us early in the morning as well. Miss Sobia, you're doing an amazing job. We're so proud to actually call you our own and have you on the show as well.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, Eid Mubarak from Shahzad, myself and the entire team as well. One thing I want to remind you before we do wrap up, if you are able to celebrate your Eid or any of your festivities with your loved ones, with your family around you, with your friends around you, you are immensely blessed and lucky, and you have no idea why I'm saying that. There are a lot of people, probably hundreds and thousands of family, unfortunately this year, having to celebrate festivities without their loved ones. A very small example, but Shahzad, how my brother lives in Amsterdam, right? And he's not been able to join us for Eid of any of these things. He wasn't
must
here on
be
my
happy over
wedding.
there.
No, he wasn't even there on my wedding. The thing is, the rescue flight from Amsterdam to Pakistan is 1,200 euros, which is way too extra from what it used to be.
Yeah.
And then when we said that, okay, we're going to pay for the flight, he was like, I don't want to be a threat to you guys because, of course, isolation and whatnot. So you're really blessed if you're spending your days with the loved ones. Please do remember us all in your prayers as well.
Exactly. So ladies and gentlemen, very quickly, once again, I'm just going to say one more thing, and that is that, since everybody has been volunteering and everybody has been providing other people or the less fortunate with the ration bags as well, since it's Eid, so everything's off. Pretty much there are no shops which are open. Even if somebody will have money, they might not be able to buy some stuff for themselves as well. So please continue with the kind of services you were providing to the less fortunate as well.
Oh,
please
yes.
make sure that they have had food. And not just the Muslim community, the minorities as well, may it be the Christian community, may it be anybody from any other religion, look after themselves, because this is the lesson we get from our very own religion, Islam, which is the religion of peace.
Absolutely. So till the next time, take care. Write to us on our Facebook pages with the name of Facebook, Twitter and YouTube with the name of World This Morning. And the repeat, maybe you will be able to catch at 5 past 11 p.m. tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Good morning.